heard, I'm sure, about the Mets' recent youth movement. Daniel Murphy and Nick Evans and Argenis Reyes and Eddie Coons, but this is ridiculous. Mets are getting younger every day. Yeah, it's family day at Shea Stadium, a chance for the kids to get down and dirty, and a chance for the Mets to get a sweep of the Florida Marlins. At Shea Stadium in New York, the CW11 presents New York Mets baseball. Today, the Mets play the Florida Marlins. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Shea Stadium. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling with you today as the Mets go for the sweep of a 3-game series against Florida. The Mets have gotten a great infusion of energy over this last week with the emergence of a young player named Daniel Murphy. Murphy, 18 at-bats in the big leagues, 9 hits, and yesterday his first big league home run.
Yeah, he has just been outstanding, and yesterday, pinch hitting. The first Met to do that, and a rookie hits the ball over that left field wall, off Pinto, off the left-hander. We knew he could hit for average. We knew he could hit in the clutch. We didn't know he could take a pinch hit at bat like that as he did it off Pinto.
It's a big league start, the likes of which you don't see very often, and it really has put an infusion of life into this team that was the oldest in the big leagues when the year began, but not anymore.
You know, they've reduced their age practically by a year by having this infusion of the Binghamton babies on this team, but they have been outstanding all season long. First career home run we talked about from Daniel Murphy. Nick Evans has done a fine job, and then Brian Stokes came in last night and did a nice job going 5 2/3 innings.
Now, the starting assignment today will go to Mike Pelfrey. The Mets have lost only twice in Pelfrey's last 13 starts. Both of those losses, though, came against the Marlins.
Yeah, good news, bad news kind of thing. His last 10 games, 8-1, but those 2 losses against the Florida, he has struggled. And you think about it, it probably makes sense. Florida's a very aggressive team, likes to swing at the fastball. Pelfrey's the guy who likes to come after the hitters with the fastball. We'll see who's stronger today.
Now, the Marlins have certainly gotten an addition to their starting rotation over the last couple of weeks. They got Anibal Sanchez back in the rotation, and they've also gotten Josh Johnson back. Johnson's made 5 starts since coming back from Tommy John surgery, and the Marlins have won every one of them.
Yeah, and he's been outstanding, to tell you the truth. 2 years ago, he was one of the best young pitchers in baseball, led the National League in ERA for a long period of time before going down, had Tommy John surgery, has now come back, and like you said, 2-0 and pitching well. He gets a lot of ground balls, especially ground ball double plays.
So it's Mike Pelfrey for the Mets, Josh Johnson for the Marlins. The Mets try for a sweep of Florida on Family Day at Shea. All the action coming up on the CW11.
It's Toyota's National Clearance Event, the perfect time for amazing deals and selection. There's no reason to wait, so head over to your Toyota dealer now, where you can lease a 2008 RAV4 for just $199 a month. Or you can lease a new 2008 Highlander for $239 a month, or get $1,000 cash back. Either way, you'll be driving home Toyota quality. So don't miss this opportunity to save big at the Toyota National Clearance Event. Hurry into your Toyota dealer today.
Things that make you go,
Every order is a great order at Papa John's. Now you can sweeten the deal with Papa John's new chocolate pastry delights, filled with rich chocolate made from Nestle Toll House morsels and covered with white icing. Call or click papajohns.com.
Fios guy. So what do you got today?
Bunch of installations. 25 Greenwich, 10 East 23rd, 43 Chambers. You?
Cancellations, mostly.
Where?
25 Greenwich, 10 East 23rd, 43 Chambers.
Sorry.
I did it. Don't.
Move over, cable. Verizon Fios is now available in New York City. This is Fios. This is big.
Dames en heren, we gaan beginnen!
Exceptionally brewed for a taste that's pure Amsterdam. Amstel Light, one damn good beer.
What's your favorite moment at Shea Stadium? Tell us about it at CW11.com/sportsblog. You can win a Dodge Journey and hear your favorite moment during Mets games on CW11. It's the Dodge Journey through Shea Stadium. Enter online at CW11.com for your chance to win.
New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Toyota, a smart way to keep moving forward. By Earthlink with Time Warner Cable. Call 1-800-OK-CABLE. By KFC, life tastes better at KFC. By Honda, test drive a new Honda today at your Honda dealers. And by Men's Warehouse, you're going to like the way you look. Be a part of the final weeks at Shea with Mets season tickets. Season ticket holders will have priority at Citi Field opening in 2009. Get to Mets.com now for your tickets. Check out today's Keys to the Game brought to you by your local BMW dealers.
Well, Big Pulp is going to continue that hot streak, keeping that sinker down. He struggled with that sinker the last 3 or 4 starts. Murphy, the rookie sensation, he's got to stay hot, keep on impressing manager Jerry Manuel. And Ramirez and Ugla, they've been having struggles at the plate, but in yesterday's ball game, looked like they've got it turned around, a couple base hits each to the opposite field.
Mets have won 4 out of 5 on this homestand. Bubblegum has been prominent throughout it. It's this year's hot foot. The kids are ready. The grown-ups are getting set. First pitch in just a moment.
The one luxury 4x4 that started it all still leads the way. Now Jeep Grand Cherokee offers the industry's first and only lifetime powertrain warranty, plus 5-star crash test ratings and an available voice-activated MyGig infotainment system. The one, the only Jeep Grand Cherokee, the #1 selling SUV in the Northeast. Right now during the Shop Till You Drive event, get 0% financing for 72 months on Jeep Grand Cherokee.
For a fun-to-eat summer treat, come to KFC and say, "Pass me the popcorn." KFC Popcorn Chicken, bite-sized pieces of all-white breast meat served in a handy popcorn box, is now just $1.99. The most convenient, fun, and flavorful way to enjoy the great taste of KFC. Individual-sized popcorn chicken, now just $1.99. Feeding a family? Get a complete 10-piece meal for just $18.99. 10 pieces of original recipe chicken, large mashed potatoes with gravy, large coleslaw, and 4 buttermilk biscuits, all just $18.99. Life tastes better with KFC.
Fios guy. So what do you got today?
Bunch of installations. 25 Greenwich, 10 East 23rd, 43 Chambers. You?
Cancellations, mostly.
Where?
25 Greenwich, 10 East 23rd, 43 Chambers.
Sorry.
I did it. Don't.
Move over cable. Verizon Fios is now available in New York City. This is Fios. This is big.
It's Toyota's National Clearance Event, the perfect time for amazing deals and selection. Head over to your Toyota dealer now, where you can get a 2008 4Runner with 0% APR for 60 months or $3,000 cash back. Or get Sequoia with $4,500 cash back or 0% APR for 60 months plus $1,500 bonus cash. So don't miss this opportunity to save big at the Toyota National Clearance Event. Hurry into your Toyota dealer today.
Starting lineup brought to you by Nissan and your local Nissan dealer. Marlins will sit Josh Willingham this afternoon. Luis Gonzalez and Jeremy Hermida man the corners. Mike Jacobs had a huge night last night. 2 doubles, a homer, 3 RBIs. And the Marlins, who have been struggling to score runs lately, will face off against Mike Pelfrey for the 3rd time this year.
Well, before I get to Pelfrey, I get so much joy out of people that throw the ball out to start the game and bounce it at home plate and get booed by the crowd. I just love it. Pelfrey starting his 23rd game for the Mets. He has been outstanding here at Shea Stadium. Left-handers have gotten to him. Pelfrey will give up some hits, but he has been great in those pressure moments. Look at the defense brought to you by Toyota. A smart way to keep moving forward. Andy Chavez getting his first start since Murphy has come up for the Mets. Reyes, of course, his 8th start. Delgado back in the cleanup spot. And there's Daniel Murphy. Schneider doing the catching.
Well, Daniel Murphy has had himself quite a start to his big league career. Mike Pelfrey, over his last 13 starts, is 8-1. The team is 11-2. But the last 2 times that Pelfrey has faced the Marlins, they beat him up pretty good. Of course, Pelfrey made his big league debut against the Marlins 2 years ago. That was a walk in the park.
What, 17 or 18 runs the Mets scored?
17-3.
Jose Valentin, one of the great games of all time.
7 RBIs in that game. Hanley Ramirez will lead things off for Florida. The lights are on here at Shea. Ramirez 2 for 7 in this series, had a pair of doubles last night. Marlins won 2 out of 3 in Philadelphia despite struggling with the bats. Anybody interested in getting married today? There's a strike to Ramirez and we're underway.
Summer Law.
Oh, I see. It's the society page.
Yes.
I thought he was looking at the weddings on the phasing page. You know, there comes a time when you look at those wedding pages and you stop seeing people you know because you're getting a little too old for that.
That's right.
You have to flip to a different page. Ramirez grounds one weakly out to shortstop, and Jose Reyes throws him out, and that's the first out of the game. So 1 out and nobody on. And Luis Gonzalez coming up. I thought you were only concerned about people throwing out the first pitch, getting the dirt around the rubber a little mussy.
No, I don't want them on the mound, of course, because the worst thing, you're breathing fire. You can't wait to pitch, and some guy from Long Island wants to shake your hand and ask you how you doing, and you're like, you just don't have your wits about you. But I don't know. I get a lot of joy when they go out there. That's the same guy that's booing Heilman because he's not getting someone out, and he bounces at the home and he gets booed.
Luis Gonzalez takes a fastball for a strike. Most people in most lines of work do not get an opportunity to hear boos.
That's right.
They might hear the boss yelling at them. They might hear their wife get upset with them, but most guys in the regular course of their lives do not hear boos. 0-2 to Gonzalez with Jorge Cantu on deck.
Maybe that's why I enjoy it so much.
Sharing the wealth.
That's right.
Luis Gonzalez at age 40 has played a lot more than he bargained for. His 67th start this year for the Marlins, and he takes up and in from Pelfrey, 97 miles an hour, and that's been the weapon for Pelfrey of late against the lefties.
Doing a nice job with that four-seamer up and in to the lefties. Coming back in.
1-2, just missed the inside corner. You got a young umpire behind home plate today, Jim Reynolds, whom Pelfrey and Josh Johnson will have to deal with. 2-2 to Gonzalez. And Gonzo taps one right back to Pelfrey. 2 batters, 2 ground balls, 2 outs. Your umpiring crew for today, the crew chief Cedarstrom at second base. Jim Reynolds getting the plate assignment today. Tim Timmons, Gary Cedarstrom fielding Culbreth. So 2 out and nobody on. Here's Jorge Cantu. Cantu hit a 2-run homer last night off Brian Stokes, who, all things considered, did a nice job in his first appearance for the Mets, and they're going to keep him around, it looks like. Cantu hits one off the end of the bat foul.
Yeah, I think he did a nice job. He made a couple mistakes, of course, up in the strike zone. Gave up a couple of 2-run home runs to Cantu and Jacobs, but I think he showed enough promise. He showed a good breaking pitch, and I think as the game wore on, a very good changeup.
And Cantu takes the sinker low and in 1-1. Well, Pelfrey trying to make it 8 straight starts now without giving up a first inning run.
Well, good sign early. 2 weak ground balls on sinkers, something that he has struggled a bit with in his last 3 starts.
It was Brian Stokes, last night's starter. And another ground ball. So the sinker ball working early. White throws out Cantu. Pelfrey throws up another 0 in the first, and the Mets will go to work against Josh Johnson.
The best newscast in New York. The New York State Associated Press Broadcasters Association. The Edward R. Murrow Award. The New York Press Club Award. The CW11 News at 10 with Jim Watkins and Kaidi Tom. Weeknights on the CW11.
When a crossover can get 24 miles per gallon and take 7 people along for the ride, suddenly the whole world changes. Discover Flex from Ford. Drive one.
Style that will get you noticed.
First, Men's Warehouse. You're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it.
Hey, honey.
Hey,
What are you up to?
just managing the kids' cell phones. See if Owen does well in math, we give him more minutes. And if Sarah makes honors, we give her more minutes or texts.
So, what about subtracting minutes? Can we do that too?
No worries.
We are so in control.
Introducing Family Allowances, only from T-Mobile. Now you can truly manage your kids' minutes and text. T-Mobile, stick together.
Starting lineup brought to you by Nissan and your local Nissan dealers. A start for Argenis Reyes today. Fernando Tatis gets a day off. Andy Chavez in a corner outfield spot. First time he started in 9 days. Daniel Murphy has become an everyday player for the Mets. Came off the bench yesterday, but back in the starting lineup today. And Josh Johnson will be on the mound for Florida.
Well, his record is 2-0, but the Marlins are 5-0 in his starts. One of the bright young talents of the game 2 years ago, Tommy John surgery, working his way back. Look at the defense brought to you by Toyota. Smart way to keep moving forward. The Marlins defense, you can see Gonzalez, Ross, Hermida. They have 20 outfield assists.
Jose Reyes struggling on this homestand after a terrific road trip, just 3 for 21, but the Mets are 4-1 in the 5 games, getting away from the so goes Reyes, so go the Mets paradigm that we have followed for most of the last few years. Doesn't always work out that way. 1-1 to Jose, and he lifts one foul, 1-2.
Well, you think you're going to get production from the middle of the lineup, of course, with Wright, Beltran, and Delgado. But Reyes, what he can do is that, and Argenis Reyes behind him, they can do is play a little small ball, maybe get 1 or 2 extra runs for that offense.
Johnson ahead 1-2, and he ties up Reyes, strikes him out for the first out.
Well, this is a good slider right here. Down and in. Tight, sharp, late.
So 1 out and nobody on. And now Argenis Reyes, who has cooled down after a hot start, hitless in his last 9 at bats. And he takes a fastball for a strike. Reyes hitting at .250 through his first 52 big league at bats. Line caught. Jorge Cantu playing in, able to snag the line drive on the backhand, 2 down.
Well, nice positioning there by Cantu. Not only playing in, Gary, but playing close to the line. Usually you play off the line a little bit. He was only a couple steps off that line. Perfect placing.
So 2 up and 2 quickly set aside. And now David Wright, whose bat has really come around the last few days. During the last 4 games, David's gone 9 for 18. He homered in back-to-back games, and then yesterday added 3 more hits. So after declining the day off on Thursday, David is proving his point that he didn't need one. David now 3rd in the National League in RBIs with 89, and one of the 2 people ahead of him will probably not drive in any more this year. Carlos Lee of the Astros suffering a broken finger last night, and looks like he'll be out for the season. Lifted in the air to center field, and Cody Ross has it lined up. And so Josh Johnson matches Mike Pelfrey by retiring the Mets in order. Took him just 8 pitches to do it. We head for the second with no score.
Oh, that's the torque. I like torque. Andy, it's great gas mileage. Woo! Okay. How fast can this... Hey, Phil.
When is this event going to be over?
Soon. Thanks, Phil.
Oh boy, this event is going to be trouble.
The Autobahn for All Summer event. Get 3 VWs for under $199 a month or 0% APR on all 08 models.
See the Mets at the movies on Wednesday, August 27th on the larger-than-life screen at the Ziegfeld Theater in Midtown Manhattan. Join Mr. Met and fellow Mets fans for SNY's live broadcast when the Mets face the Phillies at 7 p.m. Get your tickets at Mets.com/movies today.
Life is better when you know what to expect. And with Time Warner Cable's new Price Lock Triple Play, expect no surprises. And enjoy a savings of $600 over 3 years with our strongest Triple Play package. Expect more free HD choices that satellite can't beat with digital cable. Expect lightning-fast internet speeds with Roadrunner high-speed online. Expect the freedom of unlimited calling.
We're going to Scott's pool party.
And ditch Verizon's extra surcharges with home phone. Call 1-800-OK-CABLE for the Price Lock Triple Play. Just $99.95 a month for the first year, then save up to 10% off regular retail rates for the next 2 years. That's a $600 savings. Life is better when you know what to expect. Life is better with Time Warner Cable. The power of you.
Second inning with no score. Mike Pelfrey set the Marlins down on 3 ground balls in the first. Now he'll face a fly ball hitter in Mike Jacobs. And Jacobs had 3 extra base hits last night and pops the first pitch foul. Jacobs with 2 doubles, a home run, an errant throw of a souvenir ball.
That's right.
Brian Stokes' first big league hit, which Jacobs got possession of, tried to toss into the Mets dugout and missed. And it wound up in the stands, and the Mets had to do some bartering to get the ball back. Jacobs also slid in hard at second base, and he and Jose Reyes had words. So it was a very eventful night for Jake, coming back to the place where he started his big league career. One to Jacobs, taken for a strike.
He's saying that Jacobs wouldn't be very good at that ring toss over the bottles at the carnival.
Well, probably wouldn't want to go out and play horseshoes.
That's right.
Might hurt somebody. Pelfrey up in the count, 1-2. Breaking ball hit to left field. Back goes Murphy near the warning track, and he can't find it. It's over his head, and Jacobs pulls into second base with a double. Well, Murphy misplayed a ball hit by Jacobs last night that wound up being a double, and this looked like a catchable ball, and this also goes for a 2-base hit.
This ball is smoked, though. See, he kind of lost it went over his head. He was headed towards that Malibu sign. That's where he thought the ball was going to drop, and it ended up dropping right over his shoulder. Those are the things that he'll have to learn as he tries to learn where to run, where the ball is going to be, trying to find that correct distance.
So Jacobs, the first base runner of the game, his 20th double of the year. And now Dan Uggla hitting 5th in the order. And Uggla drives one to the gap in left center. Beltran won't get there, and it goes up the gap to the wall, and the Marlins will take the early lead. Jacobs in to score. Back-to-back doubles from Jacobs and Uggla, and it's 1-0 Florida. So Dan Uggla drives in his 68th run of the year with his 29th 2-base hit.
And again, we've seen these Florida Marlins in the last 2 losses for Pelfrey. They'd like to jump on that first pitch fastball. That was a sinker in that didn't sink. Looks like Uggla's starting to get hot now.
So 1-0 Florida. Now Cody Ross, who has been struggling with the bat, hitting just 193 over his last 18 games. And Pelfrey works the sinker inside, ball 1. Ross hitting at .252 for the year. Late swing, and it's 1-1. The Marlins have hit 157 home runs this year. That's second in the National League behind the Phillies. Their on-base percentage is low. Their batting average is low. They've struck out more than any other team in the majors and are on a pace to set a record for strikeouts. But somehow they've been able to patch all of that together, and they're 6th in the National League in runs scored out of 16 teams. So their offense, for the most part this year, has been productive despite kind of a different way of going about it.
Yeah, when you think about it, they've been outscored this season and still have a winning record. That's hard to do.
Well, last year the Arizona Diamondbacks made it to the postseason being outscored. So it is possible. 1-2 to Ross. This is outside 2-2. Now, of late, the Marlins offense has struggled a bit since the All-Star break, and they're 11-11 since the break. Their pitching's been a lot better. But I guess the question is, can a team that generates offense the way the Marlins do sustain that for an entire season? A low walk, high strikeout team that relies so much on the home run. 2-2, little ground ball. The runner will advance. Reyes throws out Ross by a stride as Uggla moves over to third. Nice base running by Uggla to get himself to third base with one out.
Well, the rule, if you're a base runner at second base, the ball to your left, you advance. The ball to your right, you stay at second base. But you also have to judge the speed of the ground ball. This one hit very softly. As soon as Uggla read that, he proceeded to third base. Excellent base running.
So the Mets will bring the infield in, and that's certainly a tribute to how tough Josh Johnson has looked, both in his last start against the Mets and so far today, that the Mets play the infield in the second inning. Jeremy Hermida takes ball one. Hermida sat last night, 0 for 5 in this series, hitting .260 for the year. And this is a high strikeout guy. He's fanned 112 times this year in a spot where Pelfrey would love to get a strikeout. Lifted to left, that'll get the run in. Murphy retreating, makes the grab, and Uggla can trot on in with the second Florida run. Sacrifice fly for Jeremy Hermida, his 54th run batted in, and it's 2-0 Florida.
The catcher, number 20.
So the base running of Uggla helps produce the second run. And now Matt Trainer. Trainer came off the bench last night, but making his first start in this series, and he takes the slider for ball one.
You know, we were talking about it, Gary, just how do you do it when you're being outscored and piecing it together. You know what? They play with a lot of energy. There are a lot of young players on the team, so there's a closeness that they have. They don't have a lot of folks to come and watch them down in Florida. That can make you a close team. It's you against the world kind of attitude.
Well, it's worked for the franchise before. You know, in 2003, they had a very similar kind of a team. Fastball for a strike, 1-2.
Little different managerial style, though. Jack McKeon, of course, came in with the, I don't know, he's tough. He's tough on those young players, and they needed him to be tough. Freddie Gonzalez, of course, a little more easygoing.
Well, they had the tough guy 2 years ago in Joe Girardi, and it achieved some level of success when really most of these players were rookies.
Yeah.
Uggla and Hermida and Ramirez and all those pitchers. Now they're a little bit older and playing even better. The sinker strikes out Trainer. Schneider makes the throw to complete the putout. The inning is over, but the Marlins put up a couple of runs. Mike Jacobs gets it started. Dan Uggla's double and his base running produced 2 runs, and it's 2-0 Marlins.
If you have Chase checking, you now get an exclusive discount on a Chase home equity line of credit for any new additions. Introducing Chase Exclusives. Bigger discounts. Because getting more matters. Chase what matters. If you have Chase checking, your debit card earns you free rewards points. Introducing Chase Exclusives. Free debit rewards. Because getting more matters. Chase what matters.
Do everything faster with Earthlink High Speed through Time Warner Cable. Plan, listen, blog, bid, sync, explore, map, download, watch, call, host, podcast, search, upload, meet, buy, read, shop, play, reserve, compare, email, invite, learn, chat, publish, stream, sell, live. Earthlink. Life happens online.
Get your first 12 months of Earthlink for just $29.95 a month. Call 1-800-OK-CABLE.
Ode to the Subway $5 footlong. For a meal both your appetite and your wallet can passionately embrace. High five Abe Lincoln and liquidate your hunger with 8 massively meaty subs on the new Subway Everyday Value menu. Subway. Eat fresh.
When looking at luxury cars, ask yourself this. Does the car you're looking at offer 4 years of maintenance at no cost? Only one does. BMW. You pay nothing to maintain your BMW for 4 years or 50,000 miles. Nothing. That's zero. Isn't now the time to get into a BMW? Take advantage of 0.9% financing
now through September
2nd.
Today's Dodge journey through Shea is from Steve of Terrytown. In 1970, he went to see Tom Seaver strike out 19 Padres. Included in that was Seaver K'ing the sign in the last 3 innings. The game was only 9 innings, or they may still have been watching Seaver strike out Padres. Log on to the CW11.com for a chance to win a 2008 Dodge Journey and tell us your journey through Shea Stadium. Carlos Delgado leads off the home second and takes up and away for ball 1.
Last 3 innings, but 10 in a row, right?
10 in a row. Yeah. Al Ferraro was the final strikeout. He started the string of 10 in a row and ended it. 1-1 to Delgado, who had a monstrous home run last night, 455 feet over the right field bullpen. Beltran and Murphy to follow here in the second with the Mets down 2-0. 1-2 to Delgado, who's never had a hit against Josh Johnson, and he's got company on this Mets team. Johnson, in his 4 career starts against the Mets, has completely stifled them. 3-0, 1.52. 2-2 to Delgado.
Well, the reason he does is because against the left-handed hitters for the Mets, he has the ability to pitch in with that straight fastball and that good slider that he struck out Reyes on. So a lot of weapons against the left-handers.
Inside against Delgado, 3-2, and yet for this season, lefties are hitting over 300 against Johnson, and the Mets have put every available left-hand hitter in the lineup today. They have no lefties on the bench. Fastball in there for a call, strike 3. Delgado didn't think so, but the young home plate umpire Jim Reynolds punches him out for the first out of the second.
Well, I'm with Carlos on this one. I think this is a fastball away and off the plate. You see Trainer bring it down. Could have been up and away. Oh boy, awfully close though, huh, with 2 strikes.
So Johnson has his second strikeout. And here's Carlos Beltran, who ended his homerless drought last night. Hit one over the center field fence after going 82 at-bats without a home run. Rounds one down to first, and Jacobs corrals it. And there are 2 out. So Beltran retired, 2 out in the second.
Daniel Murphy.
And now Daniel Murphy will come to bat. Murphy has had 6 games in the major leagues in which he's had an official at bat. He has hit in all 6. Last night, his first career home run came as a pinch hitter against a left-hander, hit to the opposite field. What were the odds of that?
Oh, man. Just has a great idea up there at the plate. Very serious player. No joking around once the game starts for this young man.
Just 23 years old, out of Jacksonville University. A 13th round pick 2 years ago, and got to the big leagues awfully fast for a guy picked that low.
There's been a few in his class that have made it as position players, but they're more of the Evan Longoria and players like that.
Down the left field line, over toward the corner, and another extra base hit for Murphy. It hops over the wall for a ground rule double. How about this kid?
Game's not that easy, is it? Wow, maybe for him it is. Well, he uses all fields, and we've seen that so far. The home run to left center. This ball is middle of plate. He's able to drive that past Gonzalez in left field. 1 hop, ground rule double.
11 hits in 21 big league at bats for Daniel Murphy. Mets first base runner of the game. And now Brian Schneider will try and get him in. Schneider had 2 hits in his last start, 2 hits in his previous start. First time he's had back-to-back multiple hit games since early May, as he tries to get his bat going. And Johnson works him in tight for ball 1. It's been a rough year for Schneider with the bat, and particularly when you look at his extra base hits, he has 8 extra base hits for the season in 241 at bats. goes the other way. Gonzalez going to the line, and Gonzo picks it off to end the inning. So Schneider made a bid, but Murphy is stranded, and the inning is over. 2 in the books at Shea, 2-0 Florida.
Almost Delgado became the 42nd player.
Fios guy. So what do you got today?
Bunch of installations. 25 Greenwich, 10 East 23rd, 43 Chambers. You?
Cancellations, mostly.
Where?
25 Greenwich, 10 East 23rd, 43 Chambers.
Sorry.
I did it. Don't.
Move over cable. Verizon Fios is now available in New York City. This is Fios. This is big.
For a fun-to-eat summer treat, come to KFC and say, "Pass me the popcorn." KFC Popcorn Chicken, bite-sized pieces of all-white breast meat served in a handy popcorn box, is now just $1.99. The most convenient, fun, and flavorful way to enjoy the great taste of KFC, individual-sized popcorn chicken, now just $1.99. Feeding a family? Get a complete 10-piece meal for just $18.99. 10 pieces of original recipe chicken, large mashed potatoes with gravy, large coleslaw, and 4 buttermilk biscuits, all just $18.99. Life tastes better with KFC.
Woohoo! I just passed go.
$200. Second prize in a beauty contest.
$10 for you.
I got first place. This is nice. $1,500 nice.
Play Monopoly from the New York Lottery. Get 12 chances to win up to $1 million.
It's so important to make someone happy. Make just one someone happy. Make just one.
The 300 horsepower Acura MDX with super handling all-wheel drive. How you see the road depends on what you're driving.
Make just one someone happy. And you.
Acura Advance.
Take advantage of attractive lease rates on the 2008 Acura MDX for well-qualified customers.
Dan Uggla's RBI double, bringing home the first run. And the Marlins with a 2-0 lead as they come to bat in the third. Josh Johnson, a right-hand pitcher, but a left-hand batter, takes a strike. Johnson 3 for 11 so far this year. And a fastball for a strike, 0-2.
Remember Johnson from a couple of years ago when he had those 12 wins. He's a good hitter. Has a good idea at the plate.
Makes a big rip, and he's down on 3 pitches, and Pelfrey has his second strikeout. So 1 out in the third. And up to the top of the batting order for Hanley Ramirez. Ramirez grounded out to short his first time up. Hanley Ramirez with 25 home runs. Last night Jorge Cantu hit his 20th to give the Marlins a quartet of infielders with 20 or more home runs, and they're the first National League team ever to pull that off, and the first Major League team since the 2005 Texas Rangers. For a strike, 0-1.
I misspoke last night's game when Cantu hit that home run. I guessed that it was Rodriguez, A-Rod, who was part of that group, but it was not. Another former Yankee that was in that group.
Well, they had Teixeira at first, Michael Young at short, Hank Blaylock at third, and the second baseman for Texas that year was Alfonso Soriano.
Yep.
In tight to Ramirez, 2-1. So the Marlins have already reached that milestone. They could get all 4 to 25 or more, which no team has ever done in either league. And again, Pelfrey just missing that inside corner. You're getting a little annoyed about it too. It's 3-1. And you've got a young umpire behind home plate, and let's figure out what his tendencies are going to be. How much did you guys study umpires when you were pitching?
Well, we always had the same, National League umpires and American League umpires never mixed, so you always had the same guys. So you definitely did study. I knew, that Frank Pulley would give you a little bit off the outside corner, but wouldn't give you anything on the inside.
3-2. Ramirez fouls it off, and that one caught the home plate umpire.
Dutch Rennert would give you a lot inside, nothing outside, because he was so far back from the catcher. Yeah, you definitely study the umpires. I think the key, though, is really not Mike's not going to have anything to do with it. I think the veteran Schneider has to be in the umpire's ear and saying, hey, you know, my pitcher out there, he's going to throw a lot of sinkers in. Got to be ready for it. You know, I think that pitch is close. Take another look at it next time.
3-2. Struck him out. That's 3 consecutive strikeouts for Mike Pelfrey. 2 out of the third.
I'm going to throw it as hard as I can. Let's see if you can hit it.
The left fielder,
Nope.
Luis Gonzalez.
Ramir is a little better on that ball down. That pitch a little up in the strike zone.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Luis Gonzalez, who had a comebacker his first time up. And Pelfrey misses wide with the sinker for ball 1. Beard is really growing in, isn't it?
You know, it's interesting about sinkers when you think about it. When you throw it, a lot of times if you can see it break as a pitcher, you think, boy, I've got a good big sinker today. Wrong. It's just the opposite. If you can't see it sinking, it's much better. Mel Stottlemyre, when he used to catch us in between starts, he used to say, you know, you want that sinker ball to just break at the very, very last minute. You don't want it to have any kind of loop in it as it goes to the plate. And I think that's what's happened to Mike in the past few starts. Looks like the sinker's better today. It has a little more lateral movement to it, not that great downer that he was throwing when he won all those 6 games in a row.
And Mike has fared better at home this year, as have the Mets. Last year, the Mets were a better road team than home team, but of late, the Mets have been dominating at home.
You know, I've talked about that too. It's just sometimes it just shakes out like that. You get on your winning streak when you're on the road. A couple seasons ago, remember they went 10-1 on that road trip. That just skewed the whole road record for the whole season.
2-2. Toward the middle, Reyes can't react fast enough. And Gonzalez has a 2-out hit. That ball was hit very sharply. And the Marlins have their 3rd hit off Pelfrey.
Well, older players, you always want to see if their bat speed has slowed any. Well, I'll tell you, the last 2 days, no slowness in the speed of Gonzalez's bat. Tough sinker away, a good short stroke, and right through the box.
Well, I think Gonzo has benefited lately from the fact that his playing time has decreased. Earlier in the season, he was playing just about every day, and it looked like he was slowing down. Now Cantu with a runner at first and 2 out, and he takes a slider for a strike. Cantu grounded out to David Wright his first time up. Have the Mets thrown him a first pitch fastball yet in this series?
I don't think so. They've tried to go consistently with the breaking pitch.
Pulled foul. And it's 0-2 to Cantu. Well, last night Cantu came up in the 3rd inning against Brian Stokes.
And that's why you don't want to throw him too many fastballs up in the strike zone, because that was his 20th right there.
Breaking ball hit to shortstop, and Reyes goes the short way to the other Reyes for the final out of the inning. Middle of the 3rd at Shea. Mets come to bat, down 2-0.
Smoking across the plate. Great.
It's Toyota's National Clearance Event, the perfect time for amazing deals and selection. There's absolutely no reason to wait, not when you can lease a new 2008 Toyota Sienna for just $249 a month. Or choose 0% APR financing for 60 months, or $2,000 cash back on Sienna. You're sure to enjoy these amazing offers on one of the best vehicles around. So don't miss this opportunity to save big at the Toyota National Clearance Event. Hurry into your Toyota dealer today.
Cable technology was created in 1948, 6 years before the first national color broadcast, 9 years before Sputnik, 23 years before disco, and cable was created 60 years before you bought that new big screen TV. No wonder you're not getting more HD. Verizon Fios offers 100 HD channels. When Verizon brings fiber optic straight to your home, you get picture-quality PC magazine called Stunning and the most HD period. Now in New York City. This is Fios. This is big.
The part of the final weeks at Shea with 2008 Mets season tickets. Season ticket holders will have priority at Citi Field opening in 2009. Get to Mets.com now for your tickets.
Dames en heren, we gaan beginnen!
Exceptionally brewed for a taste that's pure Amsterdam. Amstel Light, one damn good beer.
Hey, welcome back to Shea. We are with one of the treasures of Shea, is the the original organist, Jane Jarvis, is with us today, and Jane here for the only one for 2 decades, right? What do you feel when you come back here to this ballpark?
I'm so happy I can hardly stand it, but I also feel like crying at the same time, because it's possible to be over happy, you know.
They called you the Queen of Melody, is that correct?
One of the announcers that gave me that moniker, and I thought it was so sweet that I always reminded everybody that was what I was.
Well, obviously you have a place in these fans' hearts. They just showed your picture on the big board, and you got a nice cheer. Do you have a favorite memory coming back here? Is there something that always sticks in your memory is that you'll never forget?
I must remember.
Chavez puts one in the gap here, and Endy motoring for second. Maybe he'll try for 3. He's going to try for 3, and Chavez will slide in with a triple. That's I'll tell you, we know you're in the entertainment business because you let me call the play.
I have so many nice ones. I could keep you busy for half an hour telling you about all the nice things that happened to me here. Because first of all, the Mets didn't treat me like an employee. They treated me like a special guest.
Well, you are a special guest today, that's for sure. It is great to see you back in the ballpark, Jane.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
All right, guys. The only organist here at Shea, Jane Jarvis, back to you. Let's have a rally here.
Well, Jane was indeed Shea's Queen of Melody, playing the Thomas organ for all those years. She was absolutely delightful, a wonderful person, and quick on her feet as far as finding the right tune for the right moment. And she has been missed from the day that she left.
What would she play when the team took the field?
She wrote a tune that was called "Let's Go Mets," and it was stuck in my mind because it was what she played every day as the Mets took the field, and it was one of those things that just makes your hair stand up on end just to remember it, and it gives you a great sense of nostalgia. And obviously, the sounds of the ballpark have changed greatly over the years, but anybody who was around Shea Stadium during the years that Jane was playing here will never forget. Belfry fouls it off, and it's 2-2.
People tend to forget that she was a piano prodigy, of course, and the way she played the organ, she came from a jazz background and had that jazzy feel to it.
And she looks and sounds great.
Oh, fantastic. Nice to have her here.
Chavez with his second triple of the year. The infield back, 2-2 to Pelfrey, and he dribbles one. Andy will have to hold as Johnson throws out Pelfrey for the first out. So Pelfrey unable to get the run home. Now with one away, Jose Reyes will try his hand. Reyes struck out his first time up. Now just 3 for 22 on this homestand. The infield in at the corners, back at second and short. And Reyes takes high for ball 1. See what Reyes has done recently with runners in scoring position, just tearing it up over the last 5 weeks. And he grounds that one off the glove of Jacobs. Uggla makes the play and throws to Jacobs in time for the out as the run comes home. That is a great recovery by the Marlins. 3-4-3 on the putout. Chavez scores to cut the lead to 2-1.
Well, this ball hit awfully hard. Nice play by Jacobs just to get a glove on it. Lucky here that it directs right to Uggla. And the throw on the run gets Reyes.
Nice job by Jacobs to get back up and get back to the bag.
Yeah, usually that's a play you'll see the pitcher have to make, but Jacobs with a good hustle. Uggla with the nice play.
So Reyes has his 50th run batted in of the season. But by getting that out, the Marlins stay out of the potential bigger inning and keep Jose off the bases. Argenis Reyes lined out to third his first time up, and he moves out of the way, and it's 1-1. So it's 2-1 Florida. Two and 1 to Argenis. Josh Johnson pitching for the Marlins, just 24 years old. This is the 68th game started by a Marlin this year, younger than 25. Hit to shortstop. And Ramirez with the overhand throw gets Argenis Reyes to end the inning. But the Mets get a run back. Andy Chavez making it happen with a leadoff triple. Andy's second triple of the year leads to the first Met run. Through 3, it's 2-1 Florida.
Mornings are hard. What to watch is easy. The CW11 Morning News, up-to-the-minute traffic and transit reports with Jill Nicolini and Lisa Mateo. The CW11 Morning News, weekdays from 5 to 9 a.m.
Do everything faster with Earthlink High Speed through Time Warner Cable. Plan, listen, log, bid, sync, explore, map, download, watch, call, host, podcast, search, upload, meet, buy, read, shop, play, reserve, compare, email, invite, learn, chat, publish, stream, sell, live. Earthlink. Life happens online.
Get your first 12 months of Earthlink for just $29.95 a month. Call 1-800-OK-CABLE.
You only get one breakfast, so do it right. Come to McDonald's and get not one but 2 piping hot sausage McMuffin with egg sandwiches for just $3 and leave breakfast to the professionals.
When a crossover can get 24 miles per gallon and take 7 people along for the ride, suddenly the whole world changes. Discover Flex from Ford. Drive one.
When you're on the road and can't watch the Mets on TV, go to MLB.tv. You can log on and catch every remaining out-of-market Mets game of the season, live or on demand. For more details, for a free demo, visit www.mets.com. Mike Jacobs doubled and scored his first time up, and he takes a ball 1-1. Jacobs hit a fly ball to left that Daniel Murphy was unable to catch. So Jacobs with 4 extra base hits the last 2 days. Late on that fastball, and it's 1-2.
We hurt that wrist on that swing. Watch that hand come off the bat. See how it kind of turns over?
Well, he's looking at his thumb, and you know he had a problem with that thumb last year that kept him out for a significant portion of the season.
He has such a big swing, big powerful swing. If you make it out to Shea when the Marlins are in town, it's always fun to watch him take batting practice.
Well, watching Daniel Murphy pick up his first big league home run as a pinch hitter yesterday, that harkened back to Mike Jacobs and his start in the majors.
Had that pinch hit home run against Esteban Loaiza when the Mets were getting blown out here at Shea. And that home run led to him staying in the big leagues.
Big hopper for Argenis Reyes. And he throws that Jacobs one away. I mean, Jacobs was only here on a fluke.
Yeah.
He was here because he had been catching in the minor leagues, and he wasn't really considered a great catcher, but they had him around as insurance because Mike Piazza was banged up in 2005. And just because the Mets were getting blown out and they needed a pinch hitter early in a game, I think it was the 5th inning, they sent him up in that game against Washington, and he hit a home run, and he was supposed to be sent down after the game. The Mets were heading out on a road trip to Arizona, and it was Pedro Martinez who convinced Met management that, hey, the kid just hit a home run in his first major league at bat. You got to keep him around.
Yeah, I think it was a 3-run home run.
And so Jacobs made the trip to Arizona and then had a series that no one could have ever imagined. Hit 4 home runs in his first 4 days in the big leagues, and he never got sent back down.
That's right. We talk about Daniel Murphy's start, so let's not forget about Mike Jacobs' start for the Mets.
Outside 1 and 2, he had 11 homers and 110 at bats, something like that, and that enabled the Mets to make the deal for Carlos Delgado that winter with Jacobs. Too high to Ugla, 2 and 2. So you never know how those things are going to work out. If he doesn't get that at bat, the Mets aren't getting blown out that day, and Jacobs never gets to the plate. Does he ever get another shot to come up and prove himself in the big leagues? Another guy, who he wasn't really a first baseman. He was a catcher for most of his minor league career, but got an opportunity to play. Just as Murphy's getting an opportunity to play at a position that he's rather unfamiliar with.
Yeah, I think as they go along here, especially here at Shea, I think what they're going to have to do if they can, and if they feel comfortable with it on the bench, is play him about as deep as you can.
Murphy, you're talking about.
Murphy, I'm sorry, yeah, because it just seems right now that he's having a hard time going back on the ball, just judging it that way. I've seen him come in now on a couple balls and has looked very good. It's ironic because the first great catch he made as a Met was going up against the fence in Houston.
Yeah, but there wasn't far to go because that fence is so shallow in left field in Houston. 3-2 to Ugla, drive it to left field, and right there is Murphy waiting for it. Perfectly positioned for the second out. Did you put him there?
Yeah, I did. I pushed him back a couple steps now. Well, Ugla seems like he's going to be leaving town just in time because a couple hits yesterday. A double in his first at bat, and that was just a seed to left field. Oh, he's pointing at Carlos Beltran. You see that by Murphy? Pointing at him like, I got you. Thanks for putting me in the right place.
Well, Murphy's given a lot of credit to Carlos for positioning him properly on a batter-by-batter basis. Cody Ross takes a fastball for a strike. Well, you talk about the Marlins leaving town and Ugla getting hot right now. This is the middle of a very stern test for the Marlins to see if they really are going to stay in the race. They started out in Philadelphia where they won 2 out of 3. Fouled off Schneider's mask, and that knocked him back on his heels. Then here to Shea where they've lost the first 2. Now they go home, and the Marlins will play the Cardinals and the Cubs on their upcoming homestand. So by the end of next week, you should have a better idea whether they're in it for the long haul.
And for the Mets, although they haven't proven it this season, a chance to fatten up a little bit. Pittsburgh in here tomorrow for play game. A day game, and then you go on to Washington and Pittsburgh. So a chance to get some wins, you would think, but it hasn't been the case against second division clubs so far this season.
1-2 to Cody Ross. Curveball hit hard, base hit going through the hole in the left. So Pelfrey unveiling that curve, which he has put back into his repertoire, but Ross was ready for it.
The right fielder, Jeremy
4th hit of the
Hermida.
game for the Marlins. A 2-out base runner for Jeremy Hermida. There's your Mets upcoming schedule, brought to you by the Price Lock Triple Play from Time Warner Cable. Makeup game tomorrow, and by the way, if you have a ticket from the April 28th rainout, that ticket is good for tomorrow. There are also lots of tickets on sale for tomorrow's makeup game with the Pirates.
Good game to come out to, right? Day game on a Monday.
Pedro Martinez on the mound. Pedro making strides forward with every start, getting back into form.
Wouldn't talk you into playing hooky, but I won't talk you out of it.
Well, kids aren't back in school yet.
Yeah.
So it's only those who get paid who would have to play hooky.
Well, he can do a little Blackberry from the stadium.
Ross runs. It's hit into center field, a base hit. And so the Marlins will have runners at first and third. With Ross in motion, Hermida dumps one into shallow center. Back-to-back 2-out hits.
Well, Ross gets a big jump on Pelfrey, who wasn't paying much attention to him, and Hermida, 2 good at bats now. Sacrifice fly in his first at bat and base hit here.
Well, David Wright goes to the mound to talk to Pelfrey, who's just given up back-to-back hits on a curveball and a changeup. You think he's saying back to number 1?
Yeah, go back after him, big guy.
Matt Trainer struck out his first time up. 5 hits now off Pelfrey. 2-1 Florida, top of the 4th. You got the pitcher on deck. And Trainer swings and misses at the good sinker, 0-1.
Well, he's definitely got a hole right there, but that is a great sinker. First time up, Trainer struck out on that same pitch.
Trainer family picked up a win last night.
Yes.
Misty May Trainer and her partner Kerry Walsh got a win in their first beach volleyball match of this Olympics. And now Trainer's got a base hit and an RBI. In comes Cody Ross to score 3 straight 2-out hits. So that says, Misty, if you can get a win, I can get an RBI. 20th run batted into the year for Trainer, and it's 3-1 Florida.
Well, that's the case of going to the well once too often, trying to go back with that sinker, but made a mistake over the middle of the plate. Not a lot of sink on it. You see a visibly upset Mike Pelfrey.
So now Josh Johnson with 2 out and 2 on. So an inning that started swimmingly for Pelfrey, got the first 2 hitters out. Now has resulted in a run, 3 straight 2-out hits. By the way, Matt has got a ways to go to catch Misty as far as, overall success. Misty and Kerry, they've won 102 straight matches now. Wow. That might be tough for Matt to catch in any respect.
It's a 56-game hitting streak, kind of.
It's a World Series ring.
There you go.
2-0 to Josh Johnson, and Pelfrey throws a strike. Johnson struck out his first time up. He has a couple of RBIs this season. Certainly not an automatic out. Fastball away, and now Pelfrey behind 3-1 with Hanley Ramirez looming on deck. And he tips that hat back on his head. That's when he's in full ponder.
Yeah. Looks a little bit bewildered when he does that.
Ramirez, a lead pipe cinch on deck. 3-1. Big cut by Johnson, 3-2. So now the runners will be in motion with 3-2 and 2 down. Pelfrey about to throw his 72nd pitch of the afternoon. 3-2 to Johnson. Hit in the air to left field. Murphy trailing back. He's got it lined up, and that ends the inning. But 3 straight 2-out hits produce a run for the Marlins. And now Florida with a 3-1 lead.
It's Toyota's National Clearance Event, the perfect time for amazing deals and selection. There's no reason to wait, so head over to your Toyota dealer now, where you can lease a 2008 RAV4 for just $199 a month. Or you can lease a new 2008 Highlander for $239 a month, or get $1,000 cash back. Either way, you'll be driving home Toyota quality. So don't miss this opportunity to save big at the Toyota National Clearance Event. Hurry into your Toyota dealer today.
Summertime is time for KFC. Escape to KFC for a complete 10-piece meal, just $18.99. 10 pieces of finger-licking good original recipe chicken, large mashed potatoes with gravy, large coleslaw, and 4 buttermilk biscuits, all just $18.99. Life tastes better with KFC.
If you have Chase checking, you now get an exclusive discount on a Chase home equity line of credit for any new additions. Introducing Chase Exclusives. Bigger discounts. Because getting more matters. Chase what matters. If you have Chase checking, your debit card earns you free rewards points. Introducing Chase Exclusives. Free debit rewards. Because getting more matters. Chase what matters.
Fios guy. So what do you got today?
Bunch of installations. 25 Greenwich, 10 East 23rd, 43 Chambers. You?
Cancellations, mostly.
Where?
25 Greenwich, 10 East 23rd, 43 Chambers.
Sorry.
I did it. Don't.
Move over, Cable. Verizon Fios is now available in New York City. This is Fios. This is big.
This summer, Jeep marks its 5-year partnership with Operation Gratitude. You can log on to CW11.com/Jeep, send a letter to our servicemen and women overseas, and enter for a chance to win some awesome prizes. One lucky winner will drive off in a 2009 Jeep Patriot Limited. Log on to CW11.com/Jeep now. Citi Field taking shape across the way as you check out today's Pitcher's High Speed, brought to you by Verizon Fios. Call 1-877-4-FIOS-TV. Belfry has had the advantage on the speed gun. Josh Johnson has had the advantage on the mound. A 3-1 Florida lead. The Mets will send up the heart of the batting order against Johnson in the bottom of the 4th. David Wright, Carlos Delgado, Carlos Beltran. David flied to center his first time up. Now 0 for 9 in his career against Johnson. And David fouls it back. Mets are going to be seeing a lot of Josh Johnson over the next number of years. They need to figure out a way to hit him because they haven't figured it out yet. They got 4 runs off him in Florida the last time he faced him, but Pelfrey gave up 5 in that game, and the Marlins wound up winning for Johnson.
He's a big, tall right-hander. No fear. Pitches in to both right-handers and left-handers, and has a good slider.
Well, he had the terrific rookie year. Johnson went 12-7 with a 3.1 ERA in 2006. But then he developed problems with his elbow. Ulnar nerve irritation, they called it at first. On the inside corner, strike 3 called. A good-looking fastball by Johnson to get Wright looking for his 3rd strikeout.
Well, sometimes you've got to tip your cap because just a nice job of fastballs away, couple sliders away, and then surprised Wright with that fastball right inside.
Carlos Delgado, as he comes to the plate, in conversation with Jim Reynolds, who punched him out on a questionable 3rd strike his first time up. And I don't know if that was going back to the last at bat or a preemptive conversation going into this at bat.
First pitch, same exact pitch he got punched out on. Fastball away.
I guess he needs to get used to that. Pulled foul on a pitch that jammed him 0-2. Johnson ahead 0-2. And it's on the outside corner. Strike 3 call. Well, the conversation did not help Carlos's fortunes. He strikes out on 3 pitches.
I think this ball just surprised him. It caught enough of the plate. Yeah, right on the corner. Just a perfect pitch. 2 perfect pitches in a row. Right down, and now Delgado down.
So back-to-back strikeouts for Johnson. He's got 4 on the afternoon. Here's Carlos Beltran. And he takes ball 1. Beltran grounded out to Mike Jacobs his first time up. Low and inside, 2-0. You ever see veteran players try to intimidate rookie umpires?
Well, I think if that's your personality, some will try to do that. I don't think you get away with too much of that. It's almost like children yelling and screaming isn't going to produce any results. You really have to try to, intellectually present your case on why you think that he maybe made a mistake on a pitch, or The thing is these umpires are going to be here for a long, long time, probably longer than your career. So it's good to foster a good relationship with them.
And Beltran walks. So the Mets have a 2-out base runner. First walk issued by Johnson this afternoon. And so Daniel Murphy will come to the plate as the tying run. The legend of Daniel Murphy continues. An opposite field double his first time up today. Oh, he's only hitting .524 in the big leagues. To say, yeah, but has he done it, in the big spots? Well, with runners in scoring position, he's hitting 800.
Well, can he do it pinch hitting?
Yeah, walking a home run.
Well, can he hit left-handers?
Yeah, he's been 1,000 against them. Well, he's not going to hit 500 for his career. 10 hits in his first 20 at-bats. There have been 4 other Mets do that. Greg Jeffries hit 500 over his first 24 at-bats in the big leagues. Ty Wigginton hit 500 or better over his first 22. Mike Vail, Alex Ochoa. Murphy punches one right at the second baseman, Ugla, and that retires the side. So Murphy lines out, and Josh Johnson has a 3-1 lead as we go to the 5th.
Woohoo! I just passed go. $200. Got big plans.
Ooh, free parking. Free parking, $50.
Thank you. Come on.
Oh, second prize in a beauty contest. $10 for you.
I got first place. Park Place. This is nice.
$1,500 nice.
Monopoly money is now real money with Monopoly from the New York Lottery. Get 12 chances to win up to $1 million instantly.
Hey, honey.
Hey,
What are you up to?
just managing the kids' cell phones. To see if Owen does well in math, we give him more minutes. And if Sarah makes honors, we give her more minutes or texts.
So, what about subtracting minutes? Can we do that too?
No worries.
We are so in control.
Introducing Family Allowances, only from T-Mobile. Now you can truly manage your kids' minutes and text. T-Mobile, stick together.
When a crossover can get 24 miles per gallon and take 7 people along for the ride, suddenly the whole world changes. Discover Flex from Ford. Drive one.
Style that will get you noticed. Men's Warehouse. You're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it.
5th inning, top of the batting order. Hanley Ramirez leads off against Mike Pelfrey. Ramirez is grounded out and struck out 0 for 2. Ramirez, like most of the Marlins, struggling since the All-Star break. The Marlins as a team coming into today were hitting .236 since the All-Star break. As Ramirez drives one to right at Chavez for the first out. Only the Oakland A's have a lower team batting average since the All-Star break. And of course, they've plummeted. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'.
The left fielder, Luis Gonzalez.
So 1 away. Here's Luis Gonzalez, who's 1 for 2. Hit a comebacker and then singled to center field his last time up. The Marlins got 2 in the second off Pelfrey. Back-to-back doubles by Jacobs and Ugla. A sacrifice fly by Hermida. And then 3 straight 2-out hits in the 4th. Plated another run. And in a stretch where Pelfrey has been just about unbeatable against everybody else, this ball club has given him a lot of trouble.
Just the opposite of Oliver Perez, who is just 3-0 against the Marlins. Everything seems to go right. Just the opposite for Mike.
1-1 to Gonzalez. Well, Pelfrey's next start will be in Pittsburgh on Friday night. That'll change the plan. Mets are certainly hoping that John Maine returns to action on Wednesday night to face Washington. That will get their rotation back in its proper form. And it looks as though Brian Stokes is going to stay around after his first big league start. In last night's game, Stokes will stay around and work in the bullpen. How that shakes out everybody else in the bullpen remains to be seen, but Brian would be the long man. Off the plate, and Pelfrey's behind Gonzalez, 3-1.
Certainly unavailable today, but Brian said he'll be ready tomorrow.
You know, I was talking to Brian Stokes before the game today, and I said, you know, they told us you were a sinker ball pitcher, but you were throwing mostly four-seamers. He was throwing 95, 96 at times last night as Gonzalez works out a walk. That's the first walk given up by Pelfrey today. And he said, I don't know how that got around. He said, I'm not a sinker ball pitcher. He said, I throw a two-seamer, but not that much.
No, he was just rear back and fire. He threw one at 96 miles an hour last night. Good slider. Good competitor. Got his first base hit. It's a changeup I really like, though. I think that's the equalizer for him against left-handed hitters.
And he threw some against right-hand hitters, too. Against Cantu, struck him out with that.
Gary, it's interesting you mentioned that because I was talking to Robinson Cancel yesterday, just getting the scouting report. He caught him a lot of his starts in AAA, and the first thing he told me is he's got good sinking action on his fastball. So if the catcher is saying it, I'm not sure who else you could ask besides the guy who caught him most of the time, but that's what he said. That's actually one of his best pitches.
Very interesting, since he was working up in the zone yesterday.
And, you know, I talked to 2 or 3 people that obviously don't know Brian, but they said they did, and they, you know, we saw that he did not give up a lot of home runs in the minor leagues, only 7, I think in 140 innings or so, but 2 last night.
Well, I guess he's a different pitcher in the big leagues than he is in the minor leagues.
Well, don't be too much different. Double-figure winner down there, AAA, 10 wins.
Well, and last year when he was pitching in relief for the Rays, I guess they were the Double Rays last year.
Yes.
He was not very successful. He said it took him a while to make that transition, and he said he didn't feel comfortable that way. He said he's happy to work in relief, but that it was, you know, obviously wasn't a good year for him. Although he spent the whole year in the big leagues for the first time, and I guess that was the saving grace.
Well, I think for players that are undrafted free agents, as Brian was, I think you spend your entire career trying to prove yourself to those around you, and I think he proved something last night that he's got good stuff, good enough stuff to stay up here. Whether he makes the pitches, we'll see.
And Ronnie, to add on to that, you know, I thought that Stokes was pretty honest after the game last night. I said, you know, I asked him, you know going in, you're getting 1 start. Maine's coming back on Wednesday. I mean, how much pressure do you put on yourself to prove that you should be here? And he said, well, it's hard. He said, I definitely felt the butterflies early in the game. You think about that. You think you have 1 chance to show that you belong here. And, you know, luckily, he said, I kind of felt comfortable rather quickly. But, I mean, that's really a lot. You know, it's not, you know you're getting 1 start. And if you pitch well, you could stay here. And if not, you're gone. So that's a lot to weigh before a start, that's for sure.
Well, we've certainly seen our share of pitchers pitching on the edge this year. We saw it with Nelson Figueroa. We saw it with Brandon Knight. We've now seen it with Stokes, to a certain extent with Claudio Vargas. 3-1, and Cantu pulls one, just foul. 3-2.
Well, I'll tell you, one thing that made a big difference for me, and Brian's not going to benefit from this, but when I was called up in September, Frank Howard called me in his office. That's scary enough. But he called me in and he said, listen, young man, you're going to get 5 starts in September. All right, talk to you later. So I walked out, and I tell you, I was on top of the world because that was a great opportunity to know that even if I failed in the first couple, I was going to get 5 chances to prove I belonged.
Gonzalez runs, Cantu grounds it to short, and so the Marlins stay out of the double play by sending Gonzalez on 3-2. Cantu grounds out. Gonzalez at second with 2 away. Certainly a risk if Cantu strikes out because Gonzalez certainly is not going to steal the base.
Ronnie, just real quick too, your point, I remember having a conversation with Tom Glavine last year just about his early career struggles, and when he finally felt like he, you know, was comfortable. Same thing when they came to him and said, you know what, you're going to have 5 starts here, and he said once I knew that of course, every pitch was important, but I didn't feel like my life was on the line with every pitch, and I could just settle in. So he said the same exact thing.
Well, that's the difference between being a #1 draft pick and being an undrafted free agent.
You're right. And I, although I wasn't the Mets' #1 pick. I was traded for a popular player in Lee Mazzilli, and I didn't get my first win until my 5th start. So, very lucky. I only went 1-3 in September. Had a good ERA, but those 5 starts really helped.
So 2 out, Gonzalez at second, Mike Jacobs the batter, and after a conversation with Dan Warthen, Pelfrey will pitch to Jacobs with first base open. Jacobs doubled and scored in the 2nd, grounded out in the 4th. And Pelfrey works him away for ball 1. Now it's 2-0.
Personally, if you're out there pitching, I would, in this situation, be thinking and say to myself, you know what? Uggla's had 2 really good swings at me so far as at bats. And Jacobs, even though he is a threat for the long ball, has a much bigger hole to pitch to and places you can go to get him out. Uggla, not as much.
On the corner, and it's 2-1. Well, now that he's got a strike, the place for Pelfrey to attack Jacobs is upstairs. He's had success working up and into the left-hand batters. He tried to do that earlier to Jacobs.
Ironically, they're traded for each other with Delgado and Jacobs, who can pitch them just about the same way.
That's about right. And the pitch up and in, but it misses, and it's 3-1. Of course, the difference with Delgado is if you get it up and out over the plate, he's going to hit that ball.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between Mike Jacobs is still struggling to forge a career, and Carlos Delgado is a borderline Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Well, he does it all. He's appeared in the first 2 games. He's raking the bullpen.
And Jacobs draws a walk, so Pelfrey issues his 2nd walk of the inning. Slightly a pitch around, and we'll see now how he fares against Uggla with 2 on. When it comes to covering the news that matters to you, nobody does it better than the CW11 News at 10, winner of award after award, including Best Local Newscast. Join Jim Watkins and Kaidi Tong every weeknight for the award-winning CW11 News at 10. First time in his last 7 starts that Mike Pelfrey has walked more than 1 batter in a game. He's walked 2 here in the 5th inning. Now he'll face Uggla with 2 on. Uggla has doubled to left center to drive in a run, lined out to left, 1 for 2. And he hits it to the gap in right center field, and Uggla gets another one down. It rolls to the wall. Gonzalez in to score. Here comes Jacobs. He'll score a 2-run double for Dan Uggla. He's got 3 RBIs this afternoon, and the Marlins have a 5-1 lead. And Uggla has hit 3 shots in this game.
Well, I said maybe that Uggla will get out of town before he heats up completely. I was wrong. He is hot right now. Nice swing. First pitch supposed to be a slider down and away. It really spun in the middle of the plate. And of course, Gonzalez and Jacobs with that big lead at first base, able to score, push the lead to 4.
So the Marlins jumping on Mike Pelfrey again. And Cody Ross takes ball 1. I mean, it's really been an extraordinary stretch where Pelfrey has been just dominant against every other team, but his 3 starts against the Marlins during these last 2.5 months, they have beat him around. Ooh, and Ross gets drilled in the back and lets out a scream as he goes.
Where's the trainer? Oh, here we go. Jeez.
And Ross gets up and runs to first base. He didn't want the trainer. Well, I have to ask the question, Ronnie. Last night we saw Matt Lindstrom throw in head high to David Wright. First base open here.
Well, that pitch is not even close. So, in a situation where you want to be throwing a strike, maybe it got away, but a message sent with a base open and 2 outs.
And if you're going to do it, that would certainly be the spot to do it. So now Jeremy Hermida bats with 2 out and 2 on. Hermida a sacrifice fly and a base hit today. It's the 9th batter Pelfrey has hit this year. And definitely the loudest scream we've heard from somebody hit by a pitch since the days of Cliff Floyd.
I'll tell you right now, it's still hurting too for Cody Ross because that ball hit him right between the numbers.
Still feel it for that spot.
Don't touch it, Cody.
Schneider out to the mound. The Mets bullpen is working now, as Pelfrey's up to 94 pitches, working in the 5th. Carlos Muniz is up. Well, they haven't started yet in Philadelphia, where it has been raining. Taken inside, 1-1. 2-0 now to Hermida. We do not yet have an official game here. Playing at the top of the 5th.
95 in the 5th.
And it's 3-0 to Hermida. And so Pelfrey having a big problem putting this inning to bed.
First time we've seen Mike Pelfrey lost in a long time. He's lost his command, getting behind the hitters, high pitch count. Really hasn't had that good breaking pitch or changeup to throw to the hitters today. Mostly fastballs.
And a couple of times he's thrown breaking balls and changeups. He's gotten hit. Ugla and Ross, the base runners, with 2 out. 2 runs home for Florida here in the 5th, and a 5-1 Marlins lead. On 3-1, Hermida takes ball 4 and the bases are loaded. So 3 walks in the inning by Mike Pelfrey. He's also hit a batter. There's been only 1 hit in this inning, and now Matt Trainer is going to come to bat with the bases loaded. And Jerry Manuel's on his way out to the mound, and that's going to be all for Pelfrey. So another short night, short day for Mike Pelfrey against the Florida Marlins. This time it lasts just 4 2/3, and Carlos Muniz will come on to replace him. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by T-Mobile. Stick together. 5-1 Florida in the 5th.
At Turkey Hill, we take pride in our ice cream, our fresh dairy ingredients, and recipes that have served us for over 75 years. But every once in a while, we like to introduce something new. Smooth and tangy Venice Ice and creamy vanilla soft serve, blending together. Turkey Hill Duetto, 2 delicious in cherry, lemon, raspberry, and mango. And introducing 2 new flavors, root beer float and creamy chocolate coconut.
Tina, could you take a look at these scripts?
Change the bear to a shark.
Gotcha.
The wizard should have a girl's name.
This is good stuff.
These are my divorce papers.
They're hilarious.
Miss Faye, the snake wrangler got bit again. Well, I will suck the venom out, but this is the last time.
Tina, you're needed on stage 3.
Does Mama have to do everything around here?
Which flute for the Angry Hippie sketch?
The other one.
Okay.
Tina, the nanny called. Your daughter says it's octopus time.
Thank you! No, the other kind of German shepherds.
Oh, and the next time.
What?
This is American Express calling about a suspicious charge on your card. Did you buy 14,000 racquetballs?
14,000 what? No.
No problem. We'll take it off your account right away.
You will? I don't have to do anything?
Nope.
Thanks. I can't do it all alone. That's why I'm a card member. The writer's room is on fire.
Are you protected from unexpected problems? Are you a card member?
When looking at luxury cars, ask yourself this. Does the car you're looking at offer 4 years of maintenance at no cost? Only one does. BMW. You pay nothing to maintain your BMW for 4 years or 50,000 miles. Nothing. That's zero. Isn't now the time to get into a BMW? Take advantage of 0.9% financing now through September 2nd.
Trainer.
New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Nissan and your local Nissan dealer. Well, it is not Carlos Muniz. It is Eddie Coons coming in to make his 3rd big league appearance.
Well, he made his first big league appearance on August 3rd. He hasn't pitched in 4 days. And we heard Jerry Manuel many times talk about he'd love to put Coons in kind of a dire situation, see how he responds. Well, bases loaded, 2 outs.
Matt Trainer, the number 8 hitter at the plate, had a base hit his last time up to